Hello students, I am Dr. Garima Srivastava from Lal Bahadur Shastri College, Lucknow. I am going to take up the topic reflection and empathy which are related to oral communication. Now reflection. We were talking about conversation control. Conversation control was a topic which relates to how we are going to converse, how we are control our conversation into a positive direction. So, the purpose of oral communication is to deliver the speech, deliver the information to the receiver. Now, only delivery is not enough. Delivery will always result into instructions, will always result to implementation of these instructions by the receiver. So, for proper implementation of this delivery of information, it is necessary that we check into the 2 points, that is reflection and empathy in oral communication. Now, what is reflection? Reflection is a process of paraphrasing or restating both the feeling of words and feelings of the speaker. Now, when we talk about paraphrasing means as a receiver, I am trying to replace the words, I am trying to understand the words said by the sender. So, this is called paraphrasing, and feelings means I am trying to understand what the person is trying to send as a feeling when he is talking about certain oral communication. The purpose of reflecting is to allow a speaker to hear their own thoughts and to focus on what they say and feel. So, through reflection it is important, it is important where for a sender, for this reflection is very important for a sender. Why? Because the speaker will be able to hear his own thought. The speaker will record, will plan and record his own oral communication, and he will hear his own thoughts. Now, through hearing his own thought, he will be able to see what are the points he has left out, what are the things which are needed for more improvement in the communication, and similarly he will be able to focus on what he want to say and feel. So, he can improve his communication, his information through his reflection. So, to show the speaker that you are trying to perceive the world as they see it and that you are doing your best to understand their messages. Now, it will help the speaker to understand the world from their own eyes by listening to your own thoughts, listening to your own speaks. Now, it will also encourage to continue talking. Now, of course, when you listen to your things, your communication, you will try to improvise, you will try to continue on a particular topic, and you will try to cover all the points that have been that have to be taken up in a particular proper oral communication. Now, reflecting does not involve you asking questions, introducing a new topic or leading the conversation to another direction. Now, of course, it will reflection will never lead to asking of questions. Okay. So, whenever we talk about reflections means the speaker is going to practice, the speaker is going to plan his speech, he is going to practice, he is going to record his speech and then listen it back. So, whenever the speaker is listening to his own speech, he will be more nourishing his speech, older speech, he will be improving his older speech and then delivering it in a very good and effective manner the next time he speaks. So, for this purpose, he will not be taking up any kind of new topic or leading the conversation into certain different direction. It will also help the speaker. Speaker are helped through reflecting as it not only allows them to feel understood, but it also gives them the opportunity to focus their ideas. Now, it will also help the speaker that how much is to be spoken, is it not too much or is it not too less, and of course, it will also allow them to be felt understood by the receiver, because you will be at the other end as a receiver when you will be listening your own speech. So, what are the opportunities that needs to be focused, what are the points that need to be focused when you listen to your own speech? Now, what will this do? This in turn will help them to direct their thoughts and further encourage them to continue speaking. Now, of course, when you will be continuously reflecting yourself, continuously listening yourself, when you will be listening yourself, then you will be able to direct your thoughts for the next sequence of information, and continue speaking in the oral communication. So, when we talk about oral communication, for this purpose, sender will continuously listen to himself himself, he will be continuously building up the sequence of next information that is required at the next moment, and then this will only encourage him to continuously speak in front of the receiver. Now, if we see it as a process, it is how does reflection work. Now, once you record, it starts with recording of your message. It can be done simultaneously, as suppose a person is speaking, he is also listening to himself, he can make refinements then and there, but it requires a lot of experience. For the first time, for the very freshers or for the very beginners, if oral communication is done, it can be done for the first time through recording. Now, whenever you are going to communicate orally for the first or the second time, you are as a fresher, over there you can take reflection as a very important item. So, over there you can record whatever you want to speak. Now, before recording, of course, well planning of this oral communication is important. Then once you record, you will listen to your own information, you will listen to your own speech. Now, after listening to your own speech, you will try to understand that whether the speech was correct in itself or does it requires any kind of improvement. So, if it would require certain kind of improvement, you will again plan, and now this time when you will communicate, you can do it directly on the go. So, there are two main techniques of reflecting. First is mirroring. It is a simple form of reflecting and it involves repeating almost exactly what the speaker says. Mirroring should be short and simple. That means, when we talk about reflecting, it is important that whenever the speaker is saying something, it has to be replicated, it has to be done repeatedly in the same manner as the speaker is saying. So, it is the very first technique of reflecting, how reflecting is practiced. Now, mirroring should be very short and simple. Now, if we try about mirroring, then it should be for short period of time and for simple terms. It is usually enough to just repeat keywords and last few words spoken. So, if mirroring is important, so we can do mirroring for the keywords or last few words which are spoken. So, over here we can also say, if I want to emphasize on certain points, if I want to make certain points very clear in the minds of the receiver or make them understand that these points are very important, then for that purpose I can take up mirroring. Now, mirroring, I will mirror that keyword in the mind frame, in the thought process of the people, and they will understand that the mirrored words were very important in the whole of the speech that was being given by the speaker. This shows you are trying to understand the speaker terms of reference and act as a prompt for him and her to continue. Now, of course, when you mirror, when you as a receiver you mirror, you try to understand the speaker's terms of reference, you try to understand those specific words, specific jargons, technical terms that the speaker is saying. Then you will give a conformity as a receiver that you are understanding what the speaker is saying. This thing will also motivate the speaker that he is going in the right direction, and the person, the people on the other hand, the audience, the receiver on the other hand, are also understanding what the person is trying to say. So, be aware not to over mirror, as this can become irritating and therefore a distraction from the message. So, of course, we should be very much aware that over mirroring cannot be a way of oral communication. So, if I am going to mirror every word in my sentence, I am going to over exaggerate every word in my sentence. So, in that case it will become more and more irritating and cumbersome. So, I would suggest as a sender, you should first of all think of all the terms, you should filter all the terms or points which you need to mirror and only mirror those points so as to avoid irritation amongst your receiver. Now, mirroring can be done in the following 5 steps or 5 basic modes it can be mirrored. It can be mirrored through body movements, like through your body movements, it is the speaker is able to understand, you are able to understand what the speaker is saying. Then facial expression can be a question mark, or it can be a flat kind of expression where you are not understanding anything, and nodding of your head with raised eyebrow will say that yes, you are understanding the points. Similarly, your breathing pattern, that pattern will also reflect that are you able to understand as a receiver what the speaker is sending. Then similarly, your voice tone, your voice note, whether it is low, high or medium, this will also tell, this will also reflect what to what extent the audience has understood the speaker. Then blinking of your eyes. Second comes the paraphrasing. The first one was the mirroring, now it is paraphrasing. Now paraphrasing means using other words to reflect what the speaker has said. Now of course, when a speaker says something, when a speaker uses certain terms and forms sentences using different words, over there paraphrasing is a technique through which the receiver tries to reflect what the speaker has said. But over here the listener or the audience will replace those words what the speaker is saying with the words, with easy and simple words that are understood by the receiver. Now paraphrasing can be taken up as the same thing as we do when we edit a certain para. Suppose a paragraph is given by a teacher and he says that you need to edit the whole para without changing its original content. The same thing is done with paraphrasing. Over there we replace the words, we replace the difficult words, we as an audience replace the difficult words, or speaker replaces these difficult words, so that actual meaning remains the same and it is made easily understood to the receiver. Now paraphrasing shows not only that you are listening, but that you are attempting to understand what the speaker is saying. It is often the case that the people hear what they expect to hear due to assumptions of stereotyping and prejudices. Now of course, when we talk about paraphrasing, it is important to understand that what you are hearing is important. Now of course, when you are hearing something, the pronunciation is also should be very clear. Now with clear pronunciation, whatever the speaker listener is hearing, he will try to paraphrase it according to his own thought process. Now there can be certain kind of errors due to assumptions or stereotyping or prejudices, because it is often seen that we hear what we expect to hear. That means we as a receiver will always be in a certain mind frame. He will not change his mind frame for a speaker. He will do so only when certain kind of terms and conditions are being applied on the receiver. Now with this certain mind frame, if he is not trying to change this mind frame, he will hear what he expects to hear, or he will just extract what he expects to hear from that particular conversation. Now if he extracts only what is important for him and leaves the unimportant one, then it will mislead the information and lot of confusion can create. So paraphrasing is a very important part, where in the listener as well as the speaker needs to replace the words with very effective words, so that the basic content, basic meaning doesn't changes. So when paraphrasing, it is of utmost importance that you do not introduce your own ideas or questions the speaker's thought, feelings or actions. That means paraphrasing, during paraphrasing the words should not be used such as that they introduce their own thought. The thought process should be same, the meaning or the content should remain the same. Only tough words or difficult words, difficult terms should be replaced with easier ones. Your responses should be non-directive, non-judgmental. That means whatever you respond as a paraphrasing, as a receiver, it should be very much non-directive. It should not direct the conversation into some negative direction or into some other direction or to some other topic. It should not also be judgmental for the speaker. Now, it is very difficult to resist temptation to ask questions, and when this technique is first used, reflecting can seem very stilted or unnatural. So, because asking question is a very natural process amongst the receiver. So, whenever this technique is used, it should be used in a very careful manner, so that mirroring as well as paraphrasing does not leads to confused communication, it does not leads to something misleading to the receiver. You need to practice this skill in order to feel comfortable. So, for that purpose, as a listener, as a speaker, reflection should be practiced many times before delivering the communication. So, paraphrase it. Para means put the text in your own words, that means you can replace difficult words in your own words. Avoid copying the text, that means ditto copying of text from somewhere else, or taking up the thought or ideas of someone else should not be done. So, while paraphrasing, we need to take up ideas of our own, but the original content, original meaning of that idea should not change. Then we will rearrange the similar text, we will arrange the similar information into our own way, but we will deliver it in the same manner as it is being intended. Ask yourself if you included all the important points. Now, of course, while paraphrasing, while mirroring, we cannot leave any of the important points. So, all those important points should be filtered out before giving this kind of communication. Now, if we take up an example of paraphrasing, the original text was, suppose Willy Wonka was famous for his delicious candy, children and adults love to eat it. This is the original text. If I as a sender paraphrase it, I can say it in this way: Willy Wonka was known throughout the world because people enjoyed eating the tasty candy he made. Now both the sentences are one and the same, they deliver the same meaning, but I am delivering it in a different manner as was being delivered originally. Now comes the second part of oral communication, that is empathy. Now, once the speaker has reflected, has checked into whatever things, whatever points he has covered is actually in a way that the people want to listen, or is actually in a way that it was intended to, and its meaning does not change. It is also important that empathy is there. Now, empathy comes from the point of view from the listener. Now, when reflections are done, they are done from the point of view of sender. That means, a sender will reflect, will deliver the message, test the message before delivering and cover all the important points. Similarly, it is the responsibility of the receiver that he empathizes with the sender. That means, he takes up the feelings of the sender as was being sent. That means, if he is calm, if he is courteous, then the meaning of the sentence of that courteous feeling should be taken up as the same by the receiver. Now, what happens? It occurs in 4 elements of empathy. Now, first of all, see the world. That means, the receiver has seen the world. That means, through his experience, he has his own ideas, he has his own thoughts. Now, along with this, he is not judgmental, he should not be judgmental, he should be appreciative that other is also a human being. Now, when I look at the other person as a human being and judge him according to my own experience or own education, then it will be wrong. I can experience something, I can judge something, I have certain kind of education, but I should also appreciate what the other person is saying. This is called empathy. Now, when a person is empathetic enough, he will communicate the understanding, he will try to understand what the person is giving. So, ultimately the receiver will feel, he will feel whatever the things have been told by the sender. That means, whatever are the feelings of the sender are actually understood by the receiver in the same manner when we talk about empathy. Now, empathy is the art of seeing the world as someone else sees it. When you have empathy, it means you understand what a person is feeling and give a moment and understand what other person's actions made sense to them. That means you are a very calm listener, you are a very active listener, and you are trying to understand the feeling of the others. When you listen to someone very carefully, that means you are putting up a relationship of empathy between you and the sender. That means you are trying to understand the feelings of the sender and thereby also understand what the person is trying to communicate with you. Empathy helps us to communicate our ideas in a way that makes sense to others, and it helps us to understand others when they communicate with us. So, it acts vice versa. When we communicate our ideas to others, the others will also understand and they will communicate their ideas with us. It is one of the foundation building blocks of great social interaction and quite obvious powerful stuff. That means reflection should always go hand in hand with empathy. They are one or the same side of the coin. That means if we talk communication in terms of a coin, then one side can be taken up as reflection and the other side should be taken up as empathy, and none will be complete without each other. That means empathy should always go hand in hand with reflections. Now, we often get confused when we talk about empathy and sympathy. Now, empathy is quite different from sympathy. Empathy means put yourself into shoes of another. That means we are just trying to understand the feelings of others. Neither we are trying to change our feelings, our education, our experience. We are trying to understand just the feelings of the others. Why? Because maybe the other person, whatever he is trying to deliver, he is delivering something different which I may or may not know. So, for that purpose, for better understanding, better learning, I have to be empathetic with my sender. Sympathy, what does it mean? Understanding from your own perspective. Now, sympathy means you are trying to understand through your own experience, through your own understanding. Now, of course, when you will understand through your own thought process, the things which were being sent by the sender or the delivery of information may get changed. A lot number of confusions may arise when we look into information through sympathy. So, it should be seen as there is a very thin line between empathy and sympathy, and the difference between empathy and sympathy should be taken into consideration when we talk about oral communication. So, a sender, a receiver should always be empathetic and not sympathetic with the sender. Now, how do we get empathy? We all are designed to naturally empathize with each other. Actually, naturally we all have some kind of empathy with the other person. Sometimes this empathy is so much that it turns into sympathy. That is why I said that empathy and sympathy has a very certain thin line of difference between each other. Now, as a person, as a natural person, we need to understand this difference between empathy and sympathy. Our brains are wired to experience the emotions that someone else is feeling. Unfortunately, a few people have excellent natural empathy. Now, when we talk about different people in the world, some have very good natural empathy while some have very bad empathy. Our empathetic wiring exists in continuum. Some people have fantastic natural empathy and can pick up how someone else is feeling just by looking at them. Some people have only a tiny amount of natural empathy and won't notice that you are angry until you start yelling. So, this is important, this part is important as a natural form, as a receiver, this comes naturally to all the people. Now, the level of empathy keeps on growing with our experience. Now, with our experience we are able to understand through the body language of the other how the other is feeling. Now, this particular experience, this particular feeling should be increased day by day. Fortunately, if we talk about empathy, it is part talent, it is part training. That means sometimes empathy is naturally built up and sometimes it has to be taken up by the receiver. Now, of course, when we talk about different organizations and when we talk about oral communication, to make it effective, to make it successful, empathy is a very important part. So, when a person has to speak, he has to develop empathy as a talent as well as a training. So, whenever he has a natural kind of empathy, this through this training, through continuous practicing, he can develop empathy as a part of his talent. Depending on the starting level of ability, getting better at empathy might require more or less than someone else. And but no matter what your starting point, you can teach yourself to be better at empathy. Now, of course, when we talk about empathy and leave sympathy, we will keep on growing, we will keep on understanding the thought process of the other person. Now, when we talk about the thought process of the other person, empathy keeps on growing. Now, that means when the other person is speaking, I am going to interpret, I as a receiver is going to interpret the information given by the sender in a very different manner. How? Receiver will understand this through his own understanding, through his own thought process, but would not put any kind of extra meaning to it. That is what we have studied in paraphrasing. That means extra meaning would not be added to any kind of information that is being sent by the sender. Similarly, receiver will try to understand it in the same feeling as was being sent by the sender. Now, of course, empathy will be a part of talent as well as a part of training. Now, empathy contains certain kind of lessons. This is important to understand when one person empathizes with other. Understanding yourself. If you want to understand the emotion of others, you have to learn to empathize with yourself. That means once to learn the emotions or feelings of others, you need to understand the feeling of yourself. Understanding yourself was written up to help you understand and accept your emotions. Understanding and accepting your own feelings is essential for a healthy life and its foundation of empathizing with others. Secondly, if we say understanding others, through practice and commitment to thoughtfulness, anyone can learn to understand how others are thinking and feeling. Understanding others is the blueprint that shows you how you are going to understand the other. Non-verbal empathy. When you understand that someone else is thinking or feeling, it becomes easier to interact with others. But there is a non-verbal aspect to interaction that deserves special attention. The knowledge you gain from empathy can help you to use appropriate non-verbal communication. Non-verbal empathy explains how. Now, empathy will always increase your knowledge, always increase your experience, because you are understanding the feelings of other person apart from your own feelings, apart from your own experiences. So, we can say that empathy means understanding the other person, understanding the thought process of the other person without hindering it by our own thoughts, by our own experiences, and that would only help organizations to grow if they work on effective oral communication. Thank you.